top waters and jerk baits this morning. John's getting some fish on our suspended jerk baits. I'm throwing the top water, and I have what we call a mess on my hands right now. Is this shred engulfed it? Check this out. That top water is fully enlarged in there. We'll be right back because this is going to take me a while. Alright, so I was just walking the dog with this matrix mullet here. We're back over to grass flats and Pontchartrain again. We're catching a couple trout, couple reds. It's not quite time yet. We still need a few cold fronts. We wanted to start the morning off throwing a little top water as we had a nice early start. This red fish came right off top that grass mat and annihilated that matrix mullet. Great bait to throw in October, November, a lot of months of the year, but right now we're in October, waiting for some cold fronts to get here. It still feels like August, but we'll take a redfish or two. Got a decent trout this time. There we go. Barely hooked. Might be hooked a little bit better now. That's what we're looking for. Now, as the temperatures get colder and colder, you're going to see less and less of those 10 and 11 inch trout. Here's a good look at the trout right here. But as the temperatures get colder, you're going to see a lot more of these and bigger fish. This one's got them trebles buried in there. We use black nickel, number 4 trebles on these top waters, and these things are awesome. The matrix mullet. Perfect bait to throw at daylight hours. Great bait to throw in October, November. And until it gets cold, we're going to be working shorelines and grass flats. Once it gets cold, we'll get on the bridges. But for now, this is what we're trying to do. All right, whenever you're throwing top water and fishing shallow grass flats, and we discussed this when we were a few episodes ago fishing grass flats with just regular jigs, it's the same principle though. You want long casts, long as you can. Look how far it goes. We're using our Matrix 14-pound mono. That's the best thing to use for top water. Mono floats. You don't want to use fluoro on top water as it has a tendency to sink and pull the head of the lure down. So mono on top water, long cast, rod tip down while you're slowly working that bait back to the boat. It's just little twitches in the same direction. The bait naturally goes left, right, even though you're only going one direction. And you're just slowly picking up your slack with your reel as you do that. Now, what we're doing today, and this is what I strongly recommend when you're throwing hard baits, is one person in the boat throw a top water, the other person throw a suspended jerk bait, whether it's our Matrix Rip Shad or Matrix Minnow, both are very effective. And that way, in case, a lot of times what happens, they'll come up and slap the top water, and if your fishing partner throws the jerk bait behind it, a lot of times they'll grab that. It's just a lot easier for them to get to and inhale, where sometimes that top water, they're coming up and exploding on it, and they just miss it. Right now, John's throwing the suspended jerk bait. He's been switching it up between the minnow and the rip shad, and he's catching some nice fish with that too. And they got a handful of reds mixed in here also. And been seeing some jack blow ups. But as the temperatures get colder, this will turn more into pure trout. All your grass flats in Pontchartrain, which got hit pretty hard from Ida. But there still is some grass left. This still is going to be a technique. And until water temperatures get into the 60s, this will be one of the things that we're doing more often than not. All right, we're going to make one more cast here. and then make a little move. When you're doing top waters and hard baits on shallow flats in the morning, you have a very short-lived period of a time for that bite. So, oh, he hit it right there. Golly. I want to try a couple other spots before the sun gets too high. That's what happens when that sun gets too high. They just kind of shut down. I'm going to try a few other spots while the sun's still low. Let's see, get a good feel for how many areas out here are holding fish on grass flats and shallow shorelines that are hitting top water. But it's been a pretty successful start to the morning. John's doing really good with that suspended matrix bait. The rip shad's been pretty hot this morning. There he is. Is that a red? Is that a nice trout? Nice. Yeah, baby. We're gonna go make a move. Try something else. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of DockSide TV. Using our matrix hard baits to catch beautiful specks and some beautiful reds right here on the Pontchartrain Basin. Let's see if we can get this out here. You want to get your hands on some of these hard baits like this or the rip shad. Oh, to get that fish. Or the matrix minnow. Make sure to subscribe to our matrix bait box. We're going to be putting some hard baits in this month's bait box. Get out here, get on some shallow grass flat, shallow shoreline, hard bait fishing, and put some fish in the boat. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, guys. And until next time, good fishing.